Welcome back, Channel 70. Breaking
news. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Vanguard Podcast number 37, part
News.
2. My name is Josh Vasquez. Tommy Costa.
Whoa.
Joey Vasquez.
Hold up.
What?
You don't ever say our names in part 2.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, you do.
You've never done that before. I
No,
know because I always copy and paste the intro text with our names and then go to put it in the second one and you never say it.
Well, he did this time,
There you
so it's a new segment.
Yeah. Some people don't watch the first one. Some people just watch the second one. Where are we, Tommy?
Some sort of Apple building, maybe?
Sure.
I hope it's just like a big apple.
It's
Up in
just-
New York. The
Wow.
big apple.
We already did that.
Yeah, we did. We were in New York
Oh,
already.
yeah.
Well,
now
now
we're just gonna have to
my
be
New York
in front of a
Skyloft.
Big apple. And
No, just,
big red apple.
let's wait and see.
Yeah.
Well, let's see what happens.
Maybe it might have something to do with our topic.
Yeah. Speaking of which, let's get into the topic.
Guys, as you already know from the title of this video, Apple turns down pleas from FBI to create backdoor to iOS security.
It's a long title.
So is that what the title's going to be?
That's not the title, but that's what I wrote down.
Okay.
All right, quick overview. In a blog post to Apple customers Wednesday, CEO Tim Cook has stated that it will not be creating a backdoor workaround for the American government to bypass personal iPhone security. The FBI, according to the letter, asked Apple to create such a feature to aid in their investigation of the shooting, which took place in San Bernardino, California last year. The post iterates multiple times that they believe the FBI has good intentions for the software. However, there is no guarantee that the backdoor will not be used in other instances and possibly misused, as they cannot make it specifically for one device. So
Oh, this is going to get political.
there's a lot of
Let's get into it.
there's a lot of implications here. And there are a
Absolutely.
lot of messages being sent.
So something important, I think, to throw out. The attack that we are talking about is considered a terrorist attack.
Right.
So this is not just a shooting, something like that. I think it's important to state.
Yeah.
I think that goes to the sort of importance of like the one side of the argument, which is why the government should be able to have this power, I guess.
Sure.
So we'll just say that straight away so that nobody can yell at us.
No, don't yell at us. Yeah. So basically, the FBI, the government, has asked Apple, because they have recovered an iPhone at the scene of the crime,
A 5C.
a 5C, which is
And that's important because, according to Apple, if this was a newer model, then they would have a way to get into it, I believe.
right. And they have actually stated that they have complied in most ways with a lot of the FBI's requests to help them with other information that Apple has in regards to the particular iPhone. However, this was the straw which they did not give into. And it's important because although the FBI is saying we're only going to use it for this one iPhone, like it would be impossible for them to create the backdoor workaround specifically for the one iPhone. It would be able to be applied to all iPhones, and there's no way for them to know whether or not they're going to use it in the future for maybe misuse it.
Right.
So that's the big issue, and Apple has made a huge statement in this case to the American people, the American government, and maybe most importantly to other tech companies.
Yeah.
And
That's huge.
think about, what was the big thing about Connect always has to be connected to your Xbox One? What if the government can like turn
If
it
they
on and
have
see
access
me,
to it, then
or like your webcams and things like that?
which they absolutely can, by the way. So.
Yeah. and Apple, biggest tech company in the world, is now setting the precedent for we don't do this.
We're not going to create a backdoor for
Yeah.
you.
For every other tech company to follow suit,
Yeah.
potentially.
See, now, a criticism I've heard, not of Apple, but actually the rest of the tech industry, from somebody who tweeted it. They were saying that the fact that no other companies are really, or at the time, no other, maybe some have now, and they're targeting Google specifically because Google's usually pretty good about these types of things.
Yeah.
In like supporting, security and not giving the government unnecessary power.
Yeah.
And they didn't really speak up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why people think that it may not be enough.
Yeah.
Just Apple. Like they need the support of the entire tech industry.
Right. And the government's request is protected under an act of the Constitution, which was implemented after technology started getting real big.
Real big.
And
out of hand, I say.
So they are operating under the. Sorry, keep talking while I find this.
Tommy, is this legal? That's what I want to know. Is this legal both for the government and can Apple just say no?
I mean, it's their product. Right?
That's true.
But I mean, is the federal government?
We're talking about a government that has allowed this company to even exist, in terms of creating the infrastructure that it needed. Is this?
I mean, if you want to take it back that far, but
I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Well, I mean, it's Apple. It's their own company. They can do what they want with the products they make. But I mean, then again, the government rules us all.
Absolutely.
So the government and the FBI are actually operating under the All Writs Act, which is basically an expansion of its authority to allow for the government to bypass certain security measures in technology for the sake of, say,
a security risk or something.
If there's a terrorist attack.
Right.
And the problem with that being, in this case, that it could potentially have ramifications further than just this one instance. And that is what that is Apple's defense, is that this would undermine the security of all of our devices, not just this one.
Now, okay, does it bother anybody else that our government can't break into a damn iPhone?
I know people who can.
And I know that this iPhone, I believe, has an encryption on it that is like, if you get the password wrong 10 times, I believe, then it will erase all the data on there and all the memory. So they couldn't like just plug it into a machine that guesses randomly until they get it. But this is our government we're talking about.
Well,
I guess they still have to go through legal channels, but
it doesn't bother me. I mean, I think I like that better, that they can't just get into my phone, and that's the issue.
Well, they would be able to get into your phone.
Yeah. Well,
cut off your thumb and.
That's true. They could cut off 2 of my other fingers too. Yeah. That'll yield the same results. Yeah. All these ones, in case anyone's wondering.
That's why I don't use any of my fingers or my toes for my
thumbprint.
Thumbprint, yeah.
Yeah, mine's set up to my credit card.
You don't.
What do you use?
You don't want to know.
It's his left ball print.
So every time you want to look at your phone, you have to press your ball on it?
Yeah. Okay. So
completely inappropriate, Tommy.
Completely inappropriate. How dare you both?
You said it.
Back on track.
What did I say? Joey's the one who did it.
I was just asking questions. Okay.
Okay, is freedom of privacy a thing?
Yes. Well,
it is a thing. It is not always.
See, the importance of privacy
actually receive
is something that the tech industry specifically is very concerned about, because these people of everybody knows the reach that the government could have, or that anybody could have when you start infringing on people's privacy and start making backdoors.
Yeah.
Because
your product is at risk, I think, at that point, because then if you lose the trust of the consumer base, then you're not going to sell your product.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't understand is that we've literally taken our lives and put them into these devices. So they become more than just the technology that they are.
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to protect them. And creating a backdoor, even if it's for the government, even if it's for a safety reason, that opens us up to not only political corruption through the government, but also other people breaking in through that backdoor.
Yeah.
So you got to think about it from that side as well.
Yeah. You have to think, there are how many people working at Apple doing engineering and stuff, And yeah, you're giving this thing to the government, but also every Apple employee now has that as well.
Sure. And I don't trust one. I only trust one Apple employee.
Steve Jobs.
Oh, I was gonna say Tyler's mom, but
okay, yeah, pretty high up.
and his sister actually too.
That's true.
But I don't trust.
Yeah. Tell you guys this one story about one time she was working at the Kyoto Palace.
Oh yeah.
And I went there with a few friends, and she saw me, hadn't seen her in a while, and she was like, "Oh, Josh." And I was like, "Oh, hey." And then awkwardest hug of my whole life. I was like, "What are we going for here?" And I was still sitting down, and I was just kind of like,
you guys started dancing.
It was literally, I was like this.
She had you from behind. You didn't turn around.
I didn't know if I should stand up or.
Wow. I would have left.
I work
and never gone back there.
That's what happened.
Oof. Just thinking about it.
Yeah, you weren't even there.
No, but I can imagine.
I lived it. I was part of that. It's probably my fault.
Probably the government's fault.
Speaking of which,
What
were we talking about? Oh yeah,
iPhones.
one thing I did want to bring up too, something that Tim Cook mentions in the letter is.
Oh yeah, can we read his argument? Is that what you're gonna bring up?
You want to read it because
No.
it's pretty long.
Yeah, you can summarize it.
One of the things he brings up is the integrity of the work that the engineers put in creating the security system they have, and how this would actually be undoing their work, and that's not something he wants to do to his employees who put that work in. So they would actually have to tear down the security system they have to make this thing and implement it with that.
Right. Yeah, I can see that, and that's more of a. I mean, I don't want to say it's a personal thing, but that's like on a business level.
It's like a business integrity. Like
absolutely,
you want your employees' work to mean something in the long run.
Also, he paid them for those hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean.
But they still had to come up with it. That's their hard work that they're proud of.
I mean, his argument is that, you can't start taking away the, like, I don't know how to word this, like the personal, the person from the product, because the product doesn't just exist.
Yeah.
There's people behind it.
It's nothing worse than when someone undoes what you did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What if right after you edited one of our videos, I deleted the whole thing?
Hey, that's happened to me before.
It's happened to all
or
of us.
Somebody's done it to you?
If you've edited something in your life, you've lost things.
Yeah, but I mean, somebody purposely.
Yeah. No, it sucks even when it's an accident.
No. I'm talking about somebody purposely deleting your stuff.
I know.
That's not
Either way,
accident.
it still sucks.
Oh yeah, I'm sure, but I'm just saying that's happened to you. Who did that?
Oh no, not that. But you lose stuff.
So it's not happened to you. That's what you're saying.
You guys are on two different pages.
Absolutely. We're on the same page, just on different sides
Of the page.
You didn't need to say that.
Yeah, I did. I was completing your
Do you know that song?
sentences.
Do you know what song I was talking about?
Yeah, it's in my head right now.
It's Southern Lights. That band.
Oh yeah, that's what it is.
That's one of my favorite. Like I always think about that.
What are they like, Daybreaker now?
No, they're not a band anymore.
No, they broke up and some of them started a
It's
new band.
Dayseeker.
Dayseeker. So you knew what I was talking about.
Yeah.
Guys, what do you think of this issue? Is this a big security issue
hold on.
for...
Hang on, before
Barely
you
even
stop, we need to bring up the other side.
Okay.
Because I think it's totally
Of
one
the
side
page.
right now. Yeah. The other side. We gotta flip that page. We gotta read the back now.
Okay,
Oh, I see.
we're on
where
your
you're
side
going.
now.
So you're gonna side with the government.
Yeah.
You're gonna put on your government pants.
I already got my government pants on.
Those look like jeans
Actually,
to
we
me.
all do. Yeah, these are government pants.
So you're gonna say,
Well, I mean, okay, so in this particular case, we have, these two people who committed this crime, this act of terrorism, and the government believes that on one of the phones, they can get information that they deem necessary to either this investigation or future, possible attacks. And so what they're saying is, hey, we need to get into this phone, create this thing, we'll get into the phone. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
They're saying...
but they don't know for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Well, they're saying this won't be used for, we won't develop this into something else,
right.
Create backdoors, whatever. Obviously,
Can't
the
trust
track
them.
record of giving our government power like that, we know something. However, for what they're saying, if we were to believe them and trust them, then yeah, maybe it's not as bad as we think, and we're thinking of the what ifs.
Yeah.
But as of right now, those what ifs don't exist.
Right.
So, can we really base this one incident on what could potentially happen and not, help where we can?
Yeah.
Or
it also, I think, brings up the question is, when you are a young buck in the going through college or whatever, as a programmer or a developer or a marketing strategist or something, and you create a giant product that becomes Apple, what basis do you have
when that happens?
No, where's that person? I would like to meet that.
Steve Jobs. What basis do you have as the creator of this company to make this decision?
Right.
I am not going to give the government this information or create this product so that the government can break into the iPhone, which is my product, at the risk of it maybe, extending the process of bringing these terrorists to justice or possibly it being used. It's a big decision.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not one that I don't think someone prepares for when creating a company.
I would not think so.
that becomes giant.
No. Yeah. And especially like a phone.
Right.
Like, I don't think, obviously, yes, it's communication and there's, you're being connected all over the world, but you're right. I don't think Tim Cook maybe...
Who inherited the product.
Yeah, maybe he didn't think about that, but
yeah.
I don't know, that's true, because for him, he has to decide, like, what they're telling me is the safety of our country, the safety of these people, versus the integrity of... And safety, to some extent, of the people using this product that you created. Yeah. I guess, okay, this is not arguing for the government side, but wouldn't you say that it's Tim Cook's responsibility to take care of the company and the people that are affected by his product, and it's the government's responsibility to protect the people?
Yeah.
So I guess they're both doing the right thing then.
It is.
They're supposed to...
It's strange. It's where technology meets politics, and where private organization, publicly traded, private company,
meets a very public
meets this issue. Yet the American people don't have a say in what Apple does here.
Right.
It's very much Tim Cook and Apple's say.
Yeah.
But it has ramifications
that
to people as a whole.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Like, and both the government and Tim Cook are looking out for people.
Yeah.
But just in different ways.
Right.
So I think overall what I've just convinced myself of is that the fact that this is a battle and that it's not going easily in any one way is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
Because if you ask, I can't tell you the truth of I can't tell you what can happen if the government got access to this.
Yeah.
I can't tell you what's going to happen if they don't. But I know it's not supposed to be easy either way.
Yeah, and I would say it's likely this goes all the way up to the Supreme Court.
Oh, it very well could. We have a company, and they're a very influential company.
Yeah, maybe
telling the government, no.
Yeah.
We're not going to do this.
Yeah.
So that's big.
I think it's a big thing to think about, and I think even we were having the discussion of, is this something we talk about on this show?
Yeah.
And I think maybe some people watching might think that this might not be something, but it is, I think, an important precedent, or at least something to put into the minds of other tech companies for, if you're being asked to do this. I think a lot of people, I would even say that for me, and I think that I'm something who would actually think through certain decisions like this, if it were me in the position personally, that might be something I would be inclined to agree with, not thinking about the whole picture. And I think this is a good way to put it into the minds of people who might be approached by the FBI or the government, and actually to think about it, and not straight up, here's how to bypass the Connect security, look into people's homes.
I would also say, just sort of as an argument for why we're talking about this, I don't think you can separate yourself. Like, we talk about media and entertainment and things like that, but the very devices that we're talking about, we've talked about iPhone games, things like that. You can't really separate technology from the rest of our lives, I guess. It's all connected. So when we're talking about the security on our phones that have to do with our livelihood, I think it is directly related to, or there's a connection that can be made between that and like everything else that we do on there. Like our lives include everything. There's not, you can't just separate them.
Yeah.
So I think that's why.
Yeah. And I think that's why it's a valid discussion for us to have and to pose to you listening. So,
Tell me, give them the question.
back to what I was trying to get to before, but I'm glad we did keep going. We had some important topics in there, or some important points. What do you think of the decision by Apple to deny the government this request? What do you think about the request itself? Do you think that this is a kind of a bigger issue that is not so cut and dry as to they're trying to get into our iPhones, or we need to stop the terrorists? Let us know what you think about that and what you thought about this topic, and we will see you next week on Monday.
Oh.
Oh.
What does it mean?
I don't know.